All right, thank you for joining us for the AIFS Budapest info session. Introduce myself. I am Damien Marshall, work in partnership development for AIFS based out of Columbus, Ohio. And these are some pictures of me from a few years back. I was in Torino, Italy for my junior year of high school, there on the left. And then I spent a semester in Odense, Denmark when I was in college. And it's my colleague, Monica.
Yes, I am Monica Markley, Regional Enrollment Manager for AIFS. So as you're going through the application process for the program, I'll help you through if you have any questions regarding any of those forms that you need to complete. I did my study abroad in Lyon, France, a few years ago. So usually I am based out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, but we are in our offices in Annapolis, Maryland this week.
Then also joined by my colleague, Kelsey here.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm Kelsey. I am a regional enrollment coordinator with AIFS. I'm actually based in Denver, Colorado. Today, I'm in Annapolis with my colleagues, so that's exciting. I did study in Budapest, I should say. So I am not only, an alumni of the program, but I'm here to support you on the student side too, through the application process, any questions like that. Yeah.
All right, so just going over some highlights of AIFS in general. We have a comprehensive program fee that's going to include tuition, housing, a wide variety of cultural activities, excursions, on-site support, who basically are there for anything you need throughout the course of the program. They run the orientation, and they have an office there on site where you can go for any questions. They're leading the cultural program. So we're one of the longest running programs, been around since 1964. So this is our 58th year of existence. And we have very experienced staff throughout the world. We're able to do your airfare if you want that to be part of your package. And the prices are guaranteed in US dollars. The ones that you see like on the website now are the ones that, regardless of currency fluctuations and things like that, that's what you would be paying. And I'll go over here in a little bit more about the scholarship and grant opportunities. That's the founder of AIFS right there on the bottom right, Sir Cyril Taylor. So we have programs in 23 countries around the world. It's going to include our options for study abroad, for internships, for study and internships, service learning. We have programs as short as 2 weeks. We actually have a lot of Miami students who go with us on our J-term programs. And then we also offer summer, semester, and academic year as well. Programs are open to all majors, and you also don't need to know a second language to go on our programs. So I mentioned that we do have scholarships and grants. We have quite a few on our website that are competitive awards that are primarily merit-based, but we also have some discounts, including all Miami students receive an affiliate discount, which would be $400 off of the semester program fee, $200 off of summer or J-term, and then $500 off of any on-site Global Experiences internship program. In addition, we have some others. Any students receiving a Pell Grant, for example, will get an automatic $500 discount. There are several others that are listed on the website that some students may qualify for. You would work with Anna Lee and the office there to kind of work with the financial side of things at Miami. If you're receiving your Miami scholarships, loans, things like that, they would help you through that process, because with this program that we're speaking about today, the Budapest program, you would be able to use that Miami aid. So Kelsey, I think I'm gonna turn it over to you to kind of go through some of the details about Budapest specifically, and just let me know when you want me to go to the next slide.
Sure. Yeah, so Denise is the resident director in Budapest. She is an awesome, awesome human being, but really good resource to kind of connect with. Even after the program, she helped me find this job, for instance. So I've maintained, kind of a connection with her even past our time in Budapest. She's from Istanbul, Turkey. She was formerly the resident director in that location as well with AIFS. But I know she's had a lot of time studying in the US. She went to college here in the US and has taught so many different students all across the world, really. She does have her PhD in politics, and then I didn't know this, but she teaches European politics in the Middle East. Is that correct, Damien?
Yeah, and one thing that I really like about her is that she has her PhD, so she's a great advocate for us to have on campus, working with faculty and things like that. But she also, coming from Turkey, and she studied at the University of Michigan in the U.S., but also in Budapest, and so she has that experience as an international student studying in Budapest, and she knows some of the things that might be harder to adjust to, or just, advice for people who are not from there, who are visiting as a student.
Yeah, she's a great resource for everyone. The Budapest is the Hungarian capital, with 2.5 million people. It felt like a big city, but not like London or New York big. It was a big city, you got that feel, but it also felt like you had your kind of niche group or community. So I really enjoyed that aspect of Budapest. It is centrally located in Europe. There's a lot of cheap flights out of Budapest, even bus rides. My friends and I took a long bus trip up to Prague. It was quite an extensive traveling day, but I think the bus round trip was $20. So that was pretty awesome. And we got to go see somewhere else. But yeah, lots of train connections. It's a very connected city.
And it does like I've visited there just for 4 days, so not nearly as much as experience as you have. But when I was there, even though they have a great public transportation system, I found at least the center to be very walkable. I was walking all over the place there. I definitely consider it one of the top 3 most beautiful cities I've seen in the world. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I don't speak a word of Hungarian, and I got along just fine while I was there.
That's been the number one question for me in recent weeks is, do you speak Hungarian? How did you, manage to get around in Budapest? And it's very easy. I mean, at some point you kind of memorize some words in Hungarian. You're looking for these key letters in that word. So you'll get it pretty quick. But the city itself is kind of set up in like a circle. So you can't really get lost. You just keep riding the tram until you find out where you're going. But it's a beautiful, beautiful city, pretty clean, I would say. And yeah, the city center is very walkable. It's affordable. There's student discounts everywhere. I think I used my Corvinus kind of ID card. It was set up through Erasmus network. And I had a student discount pretty much everywhere I went. Museums, restaurants. If it wasn't 10%, it was like $4 off, something like that. It was great.
And that's on top of the fact that that region of Europe is definitely less expensive than other areas in Western Europe, for example, or Northern Europe.
Yeah. Corvinus University is located on the Pest side. So you'll notice the Buda side is a bit more hilly. There's some more bath houses on that side of the water. And then Corvinus is right on the Danube, right on the river. And I had classrooms that actually overlooked the water. It was beautiful. It's right next to a bridge to connect you with the other side, with Buda side. And then there's actually like a tram stop right in front of the university. There were a couple local cafes in the area. So yeah, Corvinus University is very well situated in the city center. And then the housing for AIFS was right along that area too. When I went, our apartment was about 2 stops on the tram to get to Corvinus University. So it took about 5 minutes to get to class. It was great. It's also right next to the biggest central market in the city. So there were probably hundreds of vendors in that one market, a bunch of different vendor stalls and fresh food that you could shop for. It's a great place to get some knickknacks for your family going back home. But yeah, it's in the city center. It's very close to everything.
When I was there,
oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, when I was there, I met with Denise and her husband. We had coffee in a shop across the river from the university. And you had mentioned there's some the thermal baths that are there. And so one of the more historic ones is actually right across from the university. And I went to that one with my wife, and then we ended up hiking up the hill that you see there at point number 9. It's just really nice vistas of the city. It's a great place to get good views of the city.
That was one of the bathhouses. I'll have to come up with the name of it. I can't remember right now, but that was one of them that had a really great student discount. So we would travel over the weekend, and then Monday comes around and we need a little refresh. We'd go to the thermal bath and, release all the toxins, and we just get all better. It was great. And that one was right across the street from, the university. So Corvinus University, founded in 1853. I didn't know this, but it is the most competitive school in Hungary. Is that correct, Damien?
It is. It's also the top ranked business school in Hungary.
Yes, I knew that. Lots of business courses and a ton of variety as to business courses, which was great. I actually completed an entire marketing minor while I was abroad. So I was able to get courses, in that field and complete that, as well as starting my international business minor. So that was pretty cool. There were a ton of, there was a lot of students, right? But I noticed there were a bunch of international students in my courses as I was taking the courses in English. So I was in a group for the semester with 2 people from France and then another Swiss-German student. So yeah, 10% international students, it's pretty good. But yeah, my classes were full of other international students, not just from America.
My program in Denmark was similar to that. And I think, it really adds, to the, not only are you able to make friends with people from other countries, but also in the classroom setting, in terms of the types of conversations you have and people bringing in, different perspectives. That's a really, good feature for classes, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if you're focused on international business or like global sustainability. Those are some of the courses I took. It's really cool to actually be in an international setting, studying those topics. Damien, I think I'll defer to you for the last few points about Corvinus.
Yeah, these won't necessarily be relevant to the Miami students going just for a single semester, but just to give you an idea of kind of the breadth of the different types of courses that they offer specifically, within business related coursework. It's a very well respected, like I said, the #1 business school in Hungary. And all the courses that you'll be taking are taught in English, so you don't need to know any Hungarian to do it. Yeah, and these are, we touched on this earlier, but just kind of general inclusions for the program. And we'll go into some more detail in terms of specific excursions and things like that you do. But like I mentioned, tuition, housing, excursions, cultural activities, travel card to use public transportation there. They do have volunteer opportunities, which, it's a great way to get more involved in the community. And also, as study abroad students, we get so much out of the experience. So, volunteering is a good way to kind of give back to the community while you're there as well. And then, of course, the insurance and the services of the resident director on site. I don't know, what is that food? I don't think I had that when I was there. On the bottom right, that looks pretty tasty.
I've definitely had it. I don't know why I'm blanking on the name. I was just in my inbox looking to see if I knew the name of that cake, but oh my gosh, Hungary is known for their kind of comfort food. It's all like goulash, meat, potatoes, soup. They have this thing called langos, which is basically like a fried pita almost, if you will, but a little bit different. And it's all just very comforting. Lots of sweets, yummy, yummy sweets. I was looking up the excursions to see if they were the same as when I was there. Damien, and one excursion day trip is to Szentendre outside of the city. It's about, I think it was 45 minutes on the train, and they had all sorts of yummy treats there. It was the baked goods spot for sure. So we definitely tried that cake. It was yummy. Denise ordered it for us.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so these are the dates for this coming year's programs and some details on that. I should add that, something that we set up originally through the business school there at Miami, but now through the Office of International Education, the business students who come, we have additional things that we offer them in terms of visits to local businesses, guest lectures, things like that. That's something that we've set up specifically for Miami students on the program. And then in terms of the style of teaching there on the bottom, Kelsey, can you weigh in a little bit on that and what your classes were like?
Yeah. I mean, once again, all my classes were in English, other international students, and it was a lot of kind of lecture than maybe group projects or lecture than seminar, but my classes weren't huge lecture halls. They were smaller for sure. I want to say no more than like 25 students, which was really great because I got to connect well with the professors and, get extra help if I needed it. Also, that I was able to connect with the professors professionally after the program ended. So that was fantastic. But yeah, I was never in a huge lecture hall, which was really comforting. And then there would usually be group projects expected to be done outside of the classroom. So we'd meet at coffee shops or the library. You get an automatic library card with Corvinus University. So that was cool. Yeah, does that kind of explain?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so in terms of the Miami co-sponsorship, that would apply to the semester program, but I did want to go ahead and give the dates and information for the summer program as well. So there are 2 courses that are offered over the summer, and it's a 4-week program that we run each year. So basically an abbreviated version of the semester program. And there's some of the excursions and stuff that you had talked about before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can speak to some of the cultural activities if you'd like.
Sure.
So the tandem partners was pretty cool. I think they were called like language partners when I was on the program. It was intended to kind of practice Hungarian. However, I made friends with my partner, my buddy, and she would show me around on the weekends, which was pretty cool just to have a local perspective. But yeah, you're automatically paired up with a partner. I believe it's through Corvinus. I don't know that it's through AIFS. So is that correct, Damien?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, I think Denise sets it up with Corvinus, which is really, really cool. So that was the first day. As soon as I landed, I found out who my partner was, got connected with her about a week later. The next couple days, we did some walking tours around the city. So Denise connected our program, the students, with someone who led us on a food tour, a food and culture tour. So we went to the different markets around Budapest. We looked at, different architecture, but then we'd stop in at a local restaurant or cafe. We tried some different coffees, which, there's different styles of coffee all over the world. I'm a huge coffee lover, so that was big on my list. I did not have the opportunity to participate in the traditional dance workshop, but we did go and see a traditional dance. I don't know if I want to call it a play, but it was at the Opera House, which was really cool. So I've seen it. So good luck dancing. That'll be super fun. And then there's some various other kind of professional workshops. We did not have the opportunity to take a cooking class, but I would have loved that. I brought some like paprikash, which is like paprika, back home to my family. And I was like, we have to make chicken paprikash. We have to make this dish. We have to make this dish. So kind of did that on my own. But yeah, you'll definitely work with paprika or paprikash while you're there. Let's see. The excursions that are still part of the program, specifically Szentendre, like I mentioned a few minutes ago. Oh, thank you. And then Vienna, that was wonderful. It was pretty cool to get over to Austria. I don't know that I would have made it had I not gone on this excursion. Prague is now an optional excursion that you can partake in. But one of my favorite things was hiking around Lake Balaton. So we spent we spent 3 days actually hiking, biking, and then wine tasting in the region. I'm from Napa Valley, California, so big wine region. And I hadn't really had that chance to wine taste at this point in my life. So being there, I got to come home with so many stories and, just talk about my experience in Lake Balaton region, which is a huge wine area. I think they're known for more of the whites, but yeah, I thought that was really cool. Something I definitely wouldn't have done on my own. So yeah, the excursions are very well worth it. Yeah. Yeah, do you want to talk about?
No, I was gonna defer you just from your
Sure.
arrival and like kind of how those first couple of days went.
Sure. Yeah, that's really fine. So I'm actually best friends with one of my friends from the program. We talk about reminisce about our program. So I can kind of talk about both sides. So I did not choose to do the flight package with AIFS, and she did. So she was picked up by Denise at the airport as soon as we all arrived, and escorted to our apartment. I kind of figured it out as I went. I wanted to be super independent, which looking back, it was a little nerve-wracking, but I made it work, right? You always just make it work. You adapt. And so I ended up arriving, taking a taxi. That was the easiest thing I found from the airport. But now that I know better, I'll let you all know that there is a airport transfer tram. So I could have taken public transportation for about $10. Instead, I got like a $60 taxi. And the tram took me all the way to my apartment. Like it would have dropped me off right in front of my apartment, but hindsight 2020. So I arrived, took a taxi to the apartment. Denise was waiting there for me. She handed me over the keys. And we all kind of moved in. One of our other roommates moved in later. So there's 3 of us in this apartment, plenty enough space for all of us. We all had our own bedroom and shared like living room, shared kitchen. The next day, I believe the very next day, we met Denise at a local cafe, and we kind of went through some more information, I guess, that was specific to our program. So it looks like you'll probably have a university orientation. Is that correct? And then as well as an AIFS orientation. So the AIFS orientation We went over safety. You'll definitely talk about, COVID, that situation, and safety there. We talked about, getting around the city, talked about classes, how that would start, and kind of the general structure of the program. Yes, we did also, we went over Hungarian, the language. There were some specific words that Denise wanted us to know so that we could get by until we started that course, which was very helpful. Throughout the program, you go on the excursions, you'll still meet with the resident director, Denise, and different people from the program to do, those different cultural events, excursions, day trips, those types of things. But then at the end of the program, you will meet again, and she'll support you with the checkout of your apartment. She'll, kind of give you a list of things that need to be done. You need to clean the kitchen, you need to do just normal things when you're departing a residence. So she supported us through that. And then she arranged the airport transfers for those that did the flight package. I figured it out at the end of the program and took the tram back to the airport. Super easy there. And then we just kind of briefly talked about the experience, what day trips we loved, which we didn't, what we could, do better in the future. And we had one last dinner all together, which was really nice. The transcripts, big one there. I still have mine. It's so pretty, from Corvinus. It's on this very nice parchment paper, and it's very pretty. So you'll get that I got mine about a month and a half after I was back home.
Yeah. So, the important thing is for you to make sure you're working through, the staff there at Miami University. They'll guide you through the process on that. And when it comes time to apply to us, it's a pretty painless process. Most of it can be submitted online. There are a couple of things that require signatures that you can print out and then send back to us. But probably the most time-consuming part would be looking at the courses, working with your college there to make sure what the equivalencies will be, things like that. But we'll be able to provide you with anything you need for that process, whether it's course syllabi, anything like that. The financial aid part, we can provide you with the program fee breakdown. So working with Annalie, she will make sure that you have everything you need to apply. And once you do, Monica will be the person that would reach out and be in touch and guide you through that process.
I'm happy to answer any other questions too. I love talking about Budapest. So thanks for inviting me, Damien. But also, if there are any students that want to talk more about the city, about that, you have my email here as well. So feel free to reach out.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Kelsey, thanks for joining.